Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim, swim. Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Tonight, I'm taking a look at the Bandai Star Wars Battle Droid and STAP model kit. You guys know me, I love the Star Wars model kits, and I will take anything and everything in the model kit line. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of the prequels, but I love good figures, I love good models, and the battle droids are kind of cool. I like characters, I like designs, I just don't like the storyline of the prequels. So give me the figures, give me the characters, I'm down for that. Now, like the rest of the model boxes, you get the pretty picture on the front. You get some cool pictures of the figure itself on the side and a bunch of unreadables. Probably says something like Star Wars and model kits, two great tastes that go great together. On the other side, you get the STAP all put together, and then absolutely nothing on the back. Now, opening up the box, you get pretty much what we're used to seeing by now. A bunch of sprues. There's the Waterslide Decals. Looks like different identification numbers for the back, maybe? I'm not sure how battle droids are identified. Head, backpack, and then the STAP. You got the brown rust color, kind of reddish. Inside parts. A clear stand to hold the STAP up, make it look like it's floating, flying, whatever. And then the standard decals. And then the instruction booklet. I like this picture on the front. And yeah, it does look like it's different identification numbers for the battle droid. It goes on the backpack. I never knew that. It looks pretty standard. Nothing. Whoa. It's an actual booklet this time. It's not a big fold-out instruction roadmap. It's an actual little booklet. I don't remember if we've had that before. Maybe the Biker Scout, but that's been a long time ago. I'm old, and my memory just isn't what it used to be. Now, as always, I'm not going to go through the whole build. Just if I run into any snags or there's anything cool, I'll let you know about that, and I'm going to get started on this. Okay, I will say there's a little bit of difficulty here, only because this isn't a human character, so you can't just look at the pieces and go, oh, that's the abs, oh, that's the pecs, that's the shoulders. There is a little bit of flip-flop. I had this upside down at first, couldn't figure out how it goes on, then I realized, oh, that's upside down. And then another thing I ran across is the back piece here. The instructions say to put this abdomen piece into the front piece first, but there's no lock in here. It doesn't really go anywhere. So move on to the back piece. Here there is a spot for it to kind of lock into, and I guess it slides up and down. So put that piece into the back first and then put the front onto it. And it seems to work out better like that. Whoa, I didn't even realize it until I got this together, but you extend this end and then you put this front piece on, and it looks like the chest is almost complete. There's a couple more pieces. I'm not quite done with it. But when I extended this back out, there's some extensions inside these little, I don't know, these bars sticking out from here. This came out of the sprue all as one piece, and when I pulled, there was a slight snap, and these pulled apart. So somehow that was already put together on the sprue. Kind of cool. It kind of looks like the legs are like that too, but I haven't got to those yet. But just looking at them, it looks like the leg is all one piece, but the knee's right there. In fact, all the limbs are like that. The neck came out and it has this joint right. Oops, not backwards. Don't do that. Don't bend it the wrong way. That would suck. But it already had this joint put together. Then the head actually goes on this piece if I'm reading the instructions right. And it has a hinge right there already put together, and then a swivel that is kind of tight. So if you are this far along and you're trying to turn this and it's stiff, it feels funky. It feels like it might break, but it ended up turning. But it was scary. And then if you look at this, arms, legs, the wrist right there, you can see that the joint is already kind of a ball joint in there, and I'm guessing these are hinge joints. And maybe some extra stuff up in here. I don't know when I pop those out, because I wanna cut them out, but I also don't want to get out of order, because I've done that in the past. I know that's bad news. I'm just going to stick with the instructions. Okay, I feel like there's going to be a lot of this where I have the urge to point something out, because some of the instructions here is funky. When it gets into this black text, I have no clue what's going on, but I just have to follow the arrows and the directions. And this right here, apparently you put it here, you come back and it slips down inside, which totally had me for about 10 minutes there. I actually had to get up and go do something else and come back and then realize there was a slot there. And when you cut the neck out of the sprue, it says to turn the top of the neck piece around 180. It starts like this. So if you're trying to put it in the body backwards, this needs to be turned first all the way around, and then it'll be the right way to get shoved down into the body. Yeah, here's the arm cut out, and I haven't done anything to it except for stick that thumb piece in right there. You have a hinge up at the top, you have a swivel, you have a bend at the elbow, you have a joint at the first knuckle, then you have a bend at the second knuckle, and then at the wrist you have swivel and ball in and out. So a lot of range of movement for a part that's all put together. I can see how it would be tiny little pieces if this all came separate and you had to put all this together. That's a lot of joints just to be like a bare skeleton look to it. It kind of feels like cheating. Like, here's the arm, put it on. I'm good with it, but at the same time, yeah, it's kind of skipping a whole lot of steps. Yep, the legs are the same way. You cut it out. It's just not nearly as intricate as the arms. You pretty much just have the knee hinge, which kind of snaps apart whenever you get it to bend, and then the ankle hinge down here, just a little piece like that. Okay, the stand itself, it comes with this two-piece hinge system type thing, and in the middle there's this piece SWB 14-3, and it has a pin here and a pin here. Then you have the top part of the hinge. If you stick this on the wrong one, it's going to screw you up completely. I could not figure out how to get this on the bottom here because there was peg trying to force itself into another peg and it didn't work. It's physically impossible. But then I realized I had this number 3 piece upside down. Now on the hole, it has 3 slots going up at angles, and then on the pin, there's a slot peg on it. So when you stick it together, it slots into there. So it's a hinge, but you can't actually move it. You have to actually take it apart, move it to another piece to make it bend like this. So that seems kind of a pain in the ass, I guess, because you put this on here and it's also the same thing, it slots. So it ends up a stiff, just stick, but if you take it apart, you can move it into different positions. All right, just applying some of the Waterslide decals. Well, I'm waiting for them to dry right now. I'll put the setting solution on them, and then I'm going to give them a coat of dull coat, try to make them stick better. I had a little problem with the Clone Trooper. I'm still getting the hang of water slides, but I feel like, of course, it's taken me long enough this time. I've been careful. I've stuck them on there. I've made sure that they're there, and then I did a little bit of playing around. A little creative cutting. And there we go, all put together. And I like this, but it's not without its faults. I will not lie. So let's take a look at the Battle Droid first. Excellent sculpt. Everything looks good. The details are all there. It's a model kit, so no paint. Everything's in its base color. But if you take the panel lining, which I don't have yet, I've been meaning to get some and I haven't spent the money, too many toys. Get the panel lining, dirty it all up, or give it a wash, really. It'll look pretty great without a lot of work. The size is good. The articulation is really good considering what it is. You know, it's thin, it looks very fragile, but for the most part, it's pretty good. We'll get to articulation here in a minute. But I want to get into the point that pisses me off the most right here, and that's the ankles. The joints in the legs, like I showed in the sprue, were already all put together. The ankles weren't this loose, but I've been messing around with them. I've been posing them. I've put them on the STAP, and the ankles have loosened up quite a bit. It doesn't flop, but considering how light this is already, it shouldn't have this much trouble standing. Of course, I'm hitting the sweet spot every time now. But you miss it a little bit back, it's going to lean back, it's going to fall forward. That's as far as his ankles go forward, but you can see it is leaning forward right now. The other thing are the thumbs. They're just stuck in there on a ball, and well, yeah, see, they fall out pretty easy, especially when you're trying to get him to hold something. And to a lesser degree, the joints themselves. The shoulder, the forearm, they're pretty tight. And being as thin as this plastic is, when you try to turn it, it kind of feels like it puts stress in other places. And it's especially bad in the neck. You try to turn the head, and it twists that neck piece. But you can just grab it right here and turn the head, and that works pretty good. So going over articulation, the head, it's on a hinge at the top. It goes up and down. There's also a swing out right here. There's a swivel up at the top of the neck. There's also a hinge down here at the bottom of the neck. Comes down. The shoulders are a hinge and swivel. They swivel around and then they hinge out. There's a swivel at the bicep. Well, droid bicep. There's a hinge at the elbow. Goes up about that far. There's a swivel at the forearm. You can turn it here. There's a ball joint at the wrist. It gets around, then it goes in and out, and it swivels. There's a hinge both at this knuckle and this knuckle, so you can turn it here and you can turn it here. The torso, there is a joint forward and back. It's not as nice as the SH Figure Arts, but it extends up, and then you can crunch forward and back. Not a lot, just a little bit. The hips have a surprising amount of movement. It goes out that far, which isn't great, I know, but for this droid, for the way this looks, that's pretty good. Forward, back, it pretty much goes all the way around. You can kind of turn it. It's on a ball joint. There's no swivel at the thigh, but the knee does come back to here. And down here, you have a hinge. Goes forward that much, goes back that much, and then there's a forward-facing pin for just a little bit of rocker ankle. For accessories, the Battle Droid comes with the standard blaster. It's going to need a dry brush of gray to make it look worn. The Battle Droid also comes with 2 back options. You can get the backpack, which you can see right here, and there's an option for just the antenna. So it kind of lightens the back weight a little bit, and that doesn't look bad if you just want antenna. I don't know where they went. I've already lost them, but there's also, you can replace these antenna. You can pull these out and put just the heads and make it look like the antenna's down into the backpack for its folded up position. Also here, just like the Figure Arts, there's a flip down thing that holds the gun, but for some reason I can't get it to stick on there. I know that little slot is supposed to stick on the trigger, but it's loose and it just falls off. So in the display, he'll be on the STAP, so I won't be using the gun much. Like I said, you can put him down into the transport position where the Battle Droid is all folded down, and that's pretty much just pull the neck out and then hinge it forward, but this hinges down and it goes against the body. Just bring the legs up and it gets all the way down. Not bad. I don't see myself displaying it like this at any point, but if I had like 50 of them, which I wish I did, but there's no way I'm paying for all that, I would have some displayed like this. Another accessory is the micro binoculars. These look good. Had a Waterslide decal for the red lenses on the front. Other than that, it's pretty much in the base color. Again, panel line, black wash. Make this look much better. And the Battle Droid holds it. With the thumbs being how they are, it's kind of hard to get it exactly positioned in front of the eyes, but you can do it with a little work. And then if that wasn't enough, it comes with pieces to switch the head with the model kit C-3PO. There's a part that goes into the neck here with a ball on top where you can put the head there, and then this goes into C-3PO's body and it mounts the Battle Droid head on there. And it looks okay. It's going to take some customizing to make the C-3PO look like the episode 2? Was it episode 2 or episode 3 that happened? Anyway, he wasn't gold yet. He was that silver dull color. You have to paint it up if you want the exact version of that. Also, the Battle Droid was red. Again, it's going to take some customizing. I appreciate that the parts were there. It's just that I probably will never use them. On top of all that, they even threw in a way of putting the gun in C-3PO's hand. They came up with this little piece that plugs into the hole that was for the comm link originally. And then getting to the STAP. The STAP is very, very cool. Kind of surprised myself, and I'm happy that I used dull coat on it. It makes it look more natural. With the panel lining and then another coat of dull coat, I would be super happy with it. I'm going to have to break down and order some panel lining. That's all there is to it. But this came out looking so great. Yes, there's a few little pieces that, like the gun tips, I can't get them to straighten out completely and be parallel with each other. One of the things that kind of got to me, the stand piece, you have to shove it on there and it's pretty tight. I don't even have it shoved all the way on there yet, but it's there. The problem with that is, I went through all this work to apply this Waterslide decal, and yes, I did seal it, so it should be pretty tough. But then I realized you have to slip this on and it tears right across here and right across here. That kind of sucks. At this point, I'm probably not going to pull this back off. It's probably going to always be on the stand. Speaking of the stand, this is just loose on top. I wish it was a little bit tighter just to hold the STAP in position. On top of that, there's this plug thing. I'm not quite sure what it's for. it just plugs into here. I don't know why. Maybe that's for, oh, in case the weight was offset from the center of the peg. Look at that, I'm learning something new every day. Now, along with everything else, interestingly enough, they added a joint inside the head of this. It doesn't get a lot of movement, but you can tilt back, you can push forward. It's a cool little feature. I mean, it was already coming in parts anyway, so might as well add some, you know, extra movement there. Now, getting the Battle Droid onto the STAP is kind of a chore. You gotta kind of get the Battle Droid into position before putting it on, because of how either loose or tight the joints are. It's kind of a bear. Most of the holding on is done with pegs on the feet going down into the pedals. Well, the pegs are coming out of the pedals up into the feet. That's where the tightest connection is, and then you just kind of get the hands around the handlebars. It looks good. It'll be on the shelf like that. Going back to the Battle Droid, here's a comparison with the SH Figure Arts Battle Droid, and these look good. It's actually more comparable than I thought they would be. Model kits, usually a little bit taller. In this case, yes, it's a little bit thicker, and you can see that the hips are a little bit higher, but the head doesn't come up much higher. And then here's the Battle Droid with the model kit Clone Trooper. The model kit is about the same size as the Black Series one, maybe slightly larger, but really close. And this looks good together. So at the end of the day, I'm really happy about this. Yes, the articulation is kind of fiddly just in a few places, but once you get it into position and standing or on the STAP, it looks great. Being a model kit, yes, it's going to need some paint. It's going to need some tender loving care, but the fun of the build, seeing all the intricate little pieces inside and ending up with a fairly detailed piece, that's just amazing to me. It blows my mind every time. I just know that they're all going to go into one big nifty display, and I'm going to be happy with my Star Wars collection. Model kits, SH Figure Arts, even Black Series, but every model kit goes on my shelf. I just love these things, and I cannot say enough good things about them. So if you like the review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. Now, if you pull this off to switch out to the Phase 2 head, you will notice that the sockets in the bottom are different between the two helmets. The Phase 2 helmet, it has what we usually see. It's just that kind of square, goes on the ball, kind of moves around. For some reason, the Phase 1 helmet just has a hole. I don't know if it's because of how they had to put the pieces together or what's going on there. But if you put the Phase 2 helmet on, you do get a little bit more range of movement.